Welcome to episode 91 of the Concealed Taco Dudes podcast.
Woohoo!
Wow.
That was exciting, Mark.
Never thought we'd make it to episode 3, honestly.
Episode 3.
But that's cool. We are inching closer to episode 100, which should probably be epic.
Yeah,
I think it will be.
it will be epic.
So pretty dang cool. Let's jump into sponsors really quick, and let's do them really quick.
Okay, NOEBulletMolds.com, the finest bullet molds in the galaxy.
Ooh.
It got
It
stepped
doesn't
up
get-
from the
universe.
planet, or universe. Yeah. So, yeah, use coupon code FLT001 and it will save you, I don't know,
10%.
5 or 10%. Yeah. And he has been hard at work making some molds, and I checked for a buddy, and they have some 45 ACP grooveless molds as well as some grooved ones. My favorite,
Groovy.
it's like groovy. It's a 230 grain round nose, and I cast and shoot a ton of those. So, anyways, check them out.
Grooved or grooveless?
I like the grooveless ones when I powder coat
Yeah,
them,
good.
but you can't
Cool.
powder coat grooved ones, just FYI.
And what's their website?
NOEBulletMolds.com.
Cool. Let's black ice coatings. You still haven't made it down to black ice lately, have you?
I've been waiting for you to bring the holster over so that I could go down to visit him.
It's my fault.
It's all your fault, Jason.
Yep.
Well, if you didn't live so far away, I would have time to run that holster over to you.
I'm headed over there tomorrow.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
We got
When are
to
you-
drop off 845 spring clips.
Nice.
Oh, dang.
When are you headed that way?
Probably around noon.
Okay. So I'm probably coming by your place in the morning to pick up mag holders.
Well, you know what? I could just drop them off because I drive right by your house and your shop.
That's true.
Ooh,
Okay.
maybe we'll
So
have to
everybody
do
knows what we're
a
doing
lunch
tomorrow.
meetup.
Yeah.
Maybe
If
I'll
anybody
send
wants to join in.
maybe I'll send some stuff over to you too,
Yeah.
so you can take it down to black ice.
There you go.
All right. So black ice coatings. I love their Teflon. Teflon coated guns.
They're a real community.
Yeah. It just doesn't get any better.
You know,
Makes your ARs run super smooth.
at some point I really need to get my 9mm SBR done in
Yeah.
Teflon. It is
Yeah.
filthy right now. It still works, so I haven't cleaned it.
Of course.
But and I think it will keep working
Shouldn't
for
you-
a very long time because it's a blowback.
Do you need to clean it before you send it to black guys?
I don't think you have to because
He's going to sandblast it anyway.
right? Well, you'll just
Good
have to
point.
sandblast all the carbon off first.
I'm sure he loves that. I'm sure he loves
I'm
that.
sure that carbon comes off real fast with a little bit of sand.
With the sandblaster,
Yeah.
I bet it does too. But check out Black Ice Coatings at blackicecoatings.com. You can find them on Instagram as well. They post pretty regularly. And you can see what they're doing, hydro dipping, Cerakoting, all that good stuff. And you won't find better quality.
And if you haven't cleaned your gun in 2 years, just send it to Lee.
Yeah,
Just have him Teflon coat it, and then he'll sandblast it for you.
it'll
Right.
be clean when you get it back. There you go. Utah Air Guns. Anybody been down there lately?
I have,
Yeah?
yeah.
Did you
Well-
did you pick anything new up?
No, but I have my buddy Riley, who was on the podcast a while back.
Uh-huh.
Man, I let him shoot my 177 air gun,
Your Hotson?
the Hotson Flash with the fancy wood stock.
Yeah.
And he is now contemplating on picking up either the identical one or the one with the polymer stock.
Nice.
But that wood stock is kind of tough to beat.
It's really pretty.
cool.
Yeah, it was very classy. Cool. I was there Friday, I think it was. I walked in with a tape measure, measured a couple tanks, and I walked out. I didn't even talk to anybody.
Wow.
Jeez.
I'm trying to get set up so that I can make the tank carriers for the little bit smaller bottle.
Mhm.
which seems to be what they sell the most of because I
That
think
little one, the little one that you can
not
throw in the
the
backpack.
not the little tiny one. It's a like a 6.8 liter or something like that. It's just so the big tanks that you and I have they measure 22 inches around. These measure 19 and 3/4.
Oh.
So they're not a whole lot smaller, but they're
shorter?
they're a little bit shorter also and a little bit smaller around. I think they're about $150 cheaper is probably why more people are buying those.
Yeah, even though the smaller tank doesn't make a whole lot of sense, like the really small
tiny
one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I still want to get one at some point.
There's
throwing one of those in your backpack and then going on a long hunt. I think
one that I want. I think Lee has one. It's a 3 liter. It's long and skinny, but you'd get more shots out of it. I want one of those to like have in my truck when we go out shooting and whatever, because you'd get a few more shots out of that than you would those little tiny ones. The little tiny ones make sense if you're hunting with like a 45 or a 50 or something like that, where you're only going to get 2, maybe 3 shots per charge on the gun. Then you can top it off with those little tiny ones and not be toting around a great big bottle.
Yeah, and I was thinking, something like if I were to use that little Ed gun Lacey,
Oh yeah,
where it has a really small air cylinder,
How many shots do you get out of that?
I should count at some point, but it's usually just like a quick grab it and then use it. And when we were squirrel hunting with Noah and Riley, then Noah had enough air to shoot stuff, but he didn't take quite as many shots as Riley and I did.
So you're thinking at least like what, 20, 30 rounds?
I think so.
Yeah.
When you're hunting, you don't shoot quite as much as like when you're target shooting,
right?
Paper and stuff,
right?
So
anyway, Utah Air Guns, check them out at utahairguns.com. Use the code AirCandy and you get free shipping and free turret stickers.
Yeah. Now, did I mention that I had shown a coworker my FX Crown and talked it up pretty good, and so he went over to Utah Air Guns and bought the same thing.
Nice.
And then he sent me a picture of a target with a little dime next to it. And I think he had, I can't remember how many shots, but it was like 7 shots in a dime-sized group at 50 yards.
Nice.
So he was very happy with it, and he said the starlings and pigeons were falling. So.
Oh gosh, gonna be no living birds in any of the neighborhoods before long.
Oh, he went out to a farm where they had some silos and stuff.
So. Nice, cool. Well, let's jump in with a news story. Mark's got something that's rather interesting for us.
I do, in fact. The only problem is I just closed it on my phone. There we go. So Garden Grove, California. Do you guys know where that is?
I've heard of it, but I don't know exactly where it is.
It's in Orange County, kind of.
Okay, I was thinking it was Southern California.
Yeah, it's kind of inland from like Huntington Beach and right in that area.
Okay.
There are a lot of ethnic communities, populations, and there's like a Vietnamese kind of city there. And what's been going on with the attacks that started in Atlanta with the gunmen going around and shooting all the Asian people. So what I found kind of heartening about this community's response is they all gathered together as a community and are taking basically self-defense classes as a group. And nice. I thought that was pretty cool. So they've got classes and they're talking not only with police, but self-defense trainers, martial arts, and gun people too. So cool. I think that's an appropriate response when the country starts going this direction. I think that's really kind of an appropriate thing. So I just thought it was kind of interesting. But you see all of the different types of self-defense, and I think it's really smart of them to consider everything from like knives and batons and all that up to and including firearms. So yeah. I'm really proud of those guys for doing that.
Well, what I like about that story is that it's a community, at least a neighborhood that is banded together with a common interest in keeping themselves safe. And
Exactly.
we don't see enough of that. If you're listening to this podcast right now, how many of your neighbors do you know by name?
Good question.
I know quite a few of mine, but I've also lived in this house for like 21 years now.
Yeah,
So,
I know quite a few around me,
Mhm.
but it's funny because across the street, I don't know quite as many.
yeah,
The street's a little bit busier, and so.
Yes, your street is intimidating.
yeah.
But all the neighbors on the backside, I do know.
Yeah, but I think that's important to know your neighbors, and I think that's really cool that there's enough of these people in this community that they decided that, well, let's do something together. They're definitely going to be stronger together than they are as individuals,
Yep.
And I feel bad for anybody that goes into that neighborhood to do anybody harm.
Yeah, and I think it's great that as a community in basically south of Los Angeles in liberal California, but they're considering every option,
Yeah.
and that's a good thing.
Well, and there's probably some people in that group that wants to make sure that they can protect themselves that aren't comfortable or interested in doing it with a gun. And there's others that are like, maybe not even capable of the martial arts thing and are maybe leaning more toward the gun thing. So it sounds like they're trying to find reasonable options for everybody.
And if you think about it, every argument that you have doesn't escalate to gunfire.
Right.
So, why I think
sometimes
it's really
you just got to punch them in the face.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, kudos to those guys.
Yeah, that was good.
That's awesome. Well, you can see where those types of things where communities have come together, where it has worked and has been successful. If you remember the Rodney King riots and the rooftop Koreans, that was definitely effective.
Yeah.
And
but unfortunately those were more isolated incidents as opposed to, a whole block coming together.
Well, I think that but those Koreans came, they came to protect their family, friends, extended family, those businesses.
For sure.
So, I think you're more effective as a community.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. Okay, let's move into what we did with guns. Who would like to start?
Mark.
Oh.
Ooh, Mark's holding something shiny.
Yep. So this is the Kimber K6 revolver with the new grips on it finally. So got a full-length combat grip for my 3-inch Kimber's K6.
Nice.
I'm in love with it.
Have you shot it with the new grip?
No, I haven't. I just put it on.
Okay.
So that's kind of more similar to the grip that I have, except I think the grip I have on my little Scandium frame is a little bit longer. Is that correct?
Maybe.
That looks like a pretty long grip to me.
Yeah, I think mine's just a little bit longer, yeah.
Oh, man. I'm going to have to go order another one.
Go back to Kimber, tell them they need to redesign it to be 1 inch longer.
Yep.
No, I'm just kidding. But
nice.
No, that looks really nice. It looks stylish.
I mean, I throw it up there and then Taco's like, mine's bigger than yours.
But that's a concealed carry gun, and so bigger isn't necessarily better.
True. Size doesn't matter.
That's what makes mine a little bit more difficult to, fit in my pocket, is that longer grip. But man, it sure helps when you're shooting a light, like a 357 that weighs nothing.
Yeah.
And so that grip it's a Hogue like grip, and it feels great, shoots great. But
I also did one other thing. I did ride my new electric motorcycle all around I rode around with that on my belt today.
Nice.
Yeah.
How's the new scooter?
It's way fun.
Yeah.
It's like
awesome.
an off-road electric moped.
Yeah, it looks kind of like the old tote goats on the electric.
Yeah,
a tote goat with no engine in it.
Right.
Huh. That's cool.
Awesome. Cool. All
Jason,
right.
what did you do?
Almost nothing.
You made holsters?
I made a lot of holsters. I did pick up. Did I already say this? I don't think so. I got picked up 350 rounds of 10 millimeter.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice. I think you texted it, but I don't think you told us
it
on
cost
the
me
podcast.
$300 for 350 rounds, but that was cheaper than anything else out there. But most of the stuff I could find out there was either hard cast or self-defense stuff that was like $60 for 50 rounds. Or actually, I think there were some hard cast ones at Al's. I think they were $60 for 20 rounds.
Wow.
Dang, they must have been like the bear load, like Underwood or something.
Something like that.
So what kind of load did you get?
That's a good question.
you're talking to two 10 millimeter guys right here. Come on, Jason.
I know.
How heavy of a bullet and how fast is it going?
That's, what's funny about that is I have not even looked at the boxes.
Jason is just like, it says 10 millimeter on it. It should work.
This was, it was a customer of mine he's literally in my shop about every other week picking stuff up that he's ordered. He's started an ammo company, or he's just starting one. And so I asked him if he could get me 10 millimeter. Let me see. 2 weeks later, he had 2,000 rounds of it.
Nice.
I was like, oh, I can't buy 2,000 rounds right now. I wish I could, but I can't. So anyway, he just brought it over, and I've been so busy. The bike stuff is all kicking in now too. So I'm like, things have just been crazy the last couple of weeks.
I was gonna say, at least you have 300. You said 300 rounds.
350.
350 pieces of brass.
Well, I also have, and I hope I mentioned this. I had a listener send me a bunch of once fired 10 millimeter brass.
Oh, wonderful.
Just as a gift. Because he heard me complaining about not being able to find any. So I have that also. I need to throw it in the tumbler and get it all cleaned up and ready to go. But
I was gonna say, just come over when you're not super busy, and we can make some nice hard cast, wide flat nose, 10 millimeter hard hitting stuff.
Okay.
Well, we have lots of options. I got truncated cone bullets. I got round nose. We got the wide flat nose.
And you owe me lead too.
Oh, yes. So you'll have bullets for free.
180 grains, somewhere around 1250, something like that. Are you thinking?
Are you asking
Jason?
Because no.
Jason has no idea what you're talking about.
That's not true. I understand what he's saying. I just don't know if that's what I want or not. Because,
something around there, probably.
Sure.
The thing is, you can load 10 millimeter, so it's more like 40, or you can load 10 millimeter, so it's pretty hard hitting, like heavier bullet moving at decent speed. And
I will want some of that stuff for
mooses,
backcountry, mooses and
mooses and bears.
Yep. Other than that, I have all my parts to finish my 300 blackout pistol, but they're all sitting on my bench. Mocking me.
What length of barrel did you decide to go with?
10.5 inch.
Oh, that's perfect.
I've
had a lot of people asking me about the 7-inch barrels. There must be a surplus of 7-inch 300 blackout pistol barrels. In the market right now, but I tell people, like, the sweet spot for me, at least, I like the 10.5. Seems like I get really good, a higher percentage of the powder burnt and stuff, and
for me to build an AR pistol with a 5-inch, 6-inch, 7-inch barrel just seems kind of pointless to me when I can have a regular pistol with that. Why build it that small? That's kind of how I feel. I think it needs to be somewhere between a pistol length and a carbine length.
Although I will say, my friend Riley, he has I think it's a 7.5 inch 5.56 pistol, and that thing is a hoot.
Yeah.
Yes, it's surprisingly fun. Like, you look at it on paper, it's like a pointless gun.
Yeah.
Because it's It's
And-
loud.
Yeah, and you
doesn't
really
get
probably
loud.
get an 18-inch
really
ball
loud.
of flame out the end of it.
Yeah, I told him we need to throw on a little blast forward can,
Yeah.
I just kind of redirect some of that concussion straight and not to the side.
Yeah.
But right now he doesn't have any muzzle device on it, just a thread protector. And so that it's just loud.
I bet.
Yeah.
Huh. Anyway, that's about all I did.
Okay. Well, I made up for your guys' lack of doing stuff with guns
You always do.
So I have, it's kind of like show and tell at the same time. I went to Sportsman's because one of my friends texted me and says, "Hey, hurry, quick, Sportsman's has primers." So I got,
No way.
Yeah, I got 400.
You didn't call me.
Dude, they were sold out right. I bought the last ones basically.
Of course.
So yeah, so I got 400, of course, not 1,000 of these, but it was in the individual sleeve and he was only supposed to sell like 2 or something, but he's like, "Oh, I don't like putting the tape on them and you can just have however many." And so I bought the last 4 sleeves of the CCI small rifle Magnum primers. So that was kind of
nice.
cool. And then I also picked up the CCI large rifle primers BR, so the bench rest ones.
Yeah, those are good. I like those.
And these are good. They cost a lot more. They were $60, but that's still way less than the going rate on like the classifieds and stuff. So
yeah, I mean that pistol there is, that primer there is kind of central to all my 308 and 708 and all that. It's
all the target rounds that you're doing, like,
yep.
Yeah, where you need the consistency and stuff. But yeah, I got 1,000 of those, so he let me buy the whole brick of that.
Nice.
So okay, and then Evan, he found something kind of interesting. Not kind of, it's like way interesting. So this is some type of practice ammo.
Oh,
But these are nuts. It's like a plastic case with a plastic bullet. These are 308 or like 762 NATO practice rounds. So it's a blue plastic case.
It looks
with a
and does it have a primer and powder?
It does. It has like a steel rim.
Yeah.
So it's almost like they took the last little bit off the edge of the, like they took a steel cased Russian cartridge and just cut it, and then they
and everything else is plastic
over it. Yeah.
It's almost like a shot shell.
Yeah, kind of like that. But I'm looking at this and I'm like,
so what comes out the barrel? Anything?
Yeah, what happens?
I don't know. I haven't shot any yet. So Evan and I were like he's like, "Hey man, they got this weird stuff. Do you want some?" And I'm like, "Yeah, how much is it?"
Don't you have a safety gun unloader in your basement somewhere?
Maybe, but yeah. So we're gonna
you
shoot
have
some of
no
these.
idea what these do or what their purpose is, but you bought them and you're gonna put them in a gun and see what
pull the
happens.
trigger. Yes, and after this podcast, I'm gonna take a picture and throw it on Instagram so people can see what we're talking about. So yeah, check out my Instagram and
it looks like a crayon.
It does. It's blue plastic with like a steel cased.
It looks like a dummy round.
Yeah.
So
that is weird.
I'm hoping.
What does the box say?
It's in a different language. It's like,
get your Google translator out.
Yep.
Okay, so it says AM32 Patrone Ubung. I'll take a picture of the label too, but that's what it says. So it is like $21 or $22, and I was like, this would be fun just to like shoot some. And it probably, so even though it won't cycle an AR-10, I'm still gonna throw a round in just to see like, and I'll video like the side of the action to see if the bolt even comes back at all. But what I'm guessing is they probably threw a bunch of pistol powder in this thing, and enough to like blow that plastic bullet off the front and send that flying or something.
So the internet says it's German, and it says 7.62 by 51 308 caliber training ammo with a 10 grain plastic bullet at 3,400 feet per second.
3,400 feet per second.
Yep.
and it's 10 grains. That can't fly straight.
I was gonna say, what's that gonna do coming out of there that fast?
Well, it says extremely accurate up to 300 meters.
Nuh-uh.
That's what it says.
Okay, so this is going to be actually more fun than I thought. Like, that's
don't
crazy.
shoot it in the wind.
Yeah, don't shoot it in your
Yeah.
basement. 3,400 feet per second.
That's what it says.
Dang. I'm going to, I need to melt down my ballistic gel and see what it does. And I need to shoot some milk jugs with it to see, like,
if it does anything.
If it does anything, it would have to do something because it's moving so dang fast. But it's such a lightweight bullet.
And how is it going to hold together being launched that hard? You know what I mean?
If it's a solid plastic thing, you know?
Yep.
I'm just thinking about Carl's lead bullets.
Yeah, but those
scattering.
are made out of two different materials. You got the copper jacket and the lead core. Yeah. And it's not bonded, so.
Yeah. Huh.
Anyways. Okay. Yeah, that's like total bizarreness, huh?
That is very bizarre.
So I'll take a picture of that on Instagram, and then I'll probably have to do like I said, a video for YouTube or something. But yeah. And then the reason I was late to the podcast today was that I just got back from a friend's workplace, and my truck was 200 pounds heavier.
Really?
Yes. With lead?
Lead. I got 200 more pounds of lead to add to my collection.
And where did this lead come from?
Yeah.
A friend's business.
What's the address?
But you don't want to say.
I'm not sharing that information.
We don't need to know what the business was, but what was the nature of the lead? What did it come out of?
It's scrap.
Oh, thanks.
Oh,
thanks for being so specific.
Yeah.
Anyways. Come to think of it, I'm wondering when they tear down old hospitals.
Yes.
Maybe that would be
X-ray rooms. You need that lead, man. Take the lead.
It's not radioactive?
No. X-ray is just
usually.
Yeah. No.
I don't know.
Well, I'd be okay with some radioactive bullets. That'd be a new thing. But anyways, that was a good find. And I loaded up this week. Let's see, what was it? About 150 Krag, 30-40 Krag rounds.
Nice.
And I was using the 225 grain taco bullet. And the reason I was loading up a bunch of ammo for the Krag was because we had that youth group, the church youth group we were taking out shooting. And that was super fun. We went on Saturday. We left here about 9:30 or so, and we got back around 3:00. So we went to a private range about a half hour away or so, and I brought some of my targets, but they also, at the private range, they had a bunch of targets set up. And so these boys, the scouts, or the young men's group that we took, they had the time of their life. And it was so funny because after we were done shooting, I asked each of them, what was your favorite, handgun and rifle? And there's this one kid, he's a pretty small guy, and his favorite handgun was the 500 Magnum.
Oh, jeez.
And
nice.
he was shooting these 400 grain loads. They're not like the heaviest load, but they're not light loads either. And it was funny because I started them out with, just one round in the chamber, in the cylinder. And once they fired that, then they kind of knew what it was going to be like. But yeah, on the Wednesday before we had that activity, then we had instructional, we talked about safety. And then I went over the grips and stance, posture, all that stuff. And it was really good. And some of the boys, I think there was only one boy who hadn't really done much shooting before, and all the others had, got dads who have guns and stuff. But we were able to shoot such a wide variety of guns. I think I brought 25, and then another guy brought like 10, and another guy brought like 10.
That does.
And
we had
pounds
probably
of steel
like
targets.
50 guns out there, different guns, and it was awesome. But yeah, so they all really enjoyed. I brought the identical Rossi 92s in 45 Colt, and we were having some races and duels on the dueling tree and the Buckeye Target's double spinner target. And I will say that double spinner target is like, it has gotten so much use out of it. It's the funnest thing to have races and you can see the other guys, paddles rotating and stuff. And so they just had a blast doing duels on the dueling tree and that double spinner. So people who are looking for cool steel targets, they should check out Buckeye Targets, and they make some awesome targets.
Yep.
But the reason, so going back to the Krag ammo that I loaded, the 3040 Krag, one of the adult leaders of the group, he had this family heirloom rifle that he grew up with it hanging on the mantle his whole life. And now he's like an adult and has all these kids. And he said his parents had, done the same thing where they had never shot that rifle either. And so he's like, yeah, it's this really old rifle. It's cool. And I told him to bring it over. And it turned out it was a 3040 Krag in the original like military configuration. And it had a decent amount of rust. So I cleaned it up and lubed it and took off some of the, most of the rust. And I looked down the bore and it was pretty good. So I said, this is shootable. And he got really excited. Like, hey, where can we get ammo? And I said, well, luckily, we can make anything you need. So I made that ammo, and he was able to shoot with his son this, family heirloom that he had grown up seeing it hanging on the wall. And his parents had never shot it. So he said it hadn't been shot in like, over 100 years or so.
Wow.
But
that's
kind of an exciting thing. And he was just having the time of his life, and his boy was having a, just a fun time because, he inherited that rifle from his parents. And so it was a really cool thing. So
another thing that I wondered about, did you take the 338 Spectre out again?
Yes. So I took the 338 Spectre out and I did a video on that. Can't remember.
It was on YouTube and it was amazing.
Yeah. And so if you guys want to see what I'm talking about with the 338 Spectre, it's a 10 millimeter Magnum pistol case and it's neck down to 338. And I think in the beginning of the video, I kind of talk about the cartridge a little bit and show how
the fact that the bullet is longer than the case.
Yes, the bullets are usually longer than the brass case, which is pretty unique. I don't know of any other cartridge that is like that. So
interesting.
But yeah, the 338 Spectre. So if you want to see like a cool little Wildcat cartridge, check out my channel and check that out. It's a fun video. But I guess I mentioned I took out the Hotson Flash in the 177 air gun and shot some stuff, took it shooting, and I got it sighted in real good with that I think it's a Bushnell scope, and it's good. I like it. And it's accurate, not quite as accurate as say the FX guns that I have.
Yeah, but you're talking a third of the price.
Like $400-ish compared to like 1,800 or
right.
Well, you bought that gun because you had extra pellets, right?
Yes.
So are you going to run out and buy more pellets, or are you going to sell it?
No, here's the thing. Of course, when I bought the gun, then I think I wanted to try out all these pellets, so I bought a bunch of pellets with it. So I haven't even shot any of the pellets that I had left over from my break barrel pellet gun. The reason I bought it in the first place.
Huh.
Yeah. But I should shoot those and just see how they shoot,
Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, been busy casting, reloading, shooting, and more reloading and more casting. So but yeah, it's cool. Been a long, busy week, but it was totally fun.
Nice.
And so I just want to throw this out there. Everyone should think about volunteering with the youth programs. It's super rewarding and it's good for the cause, to teach people how to properly and safely use firearms.
Well, and getting involved with youth, period, I think in anything that gets them away from a screen and out of the house is is productive. I spent a couple hours this evening working on trails that were burned recently that is on wilderness management property that has trails that we ride on, but they've closed them because of the fire damage. And so we went up with them with the kids from our bike team and did a ton of trail maintenance. We've been planting sagebrush and bitterbrush for the
that's
deer
crazy
and all kinds of stuff. Crazy to plant sagebrush.
Yeah.
But it's all burned. It's all gone. And it's an area of the mountain that has been set apart for wildlife habitat.
You need to put baby rabbits in there too.
Yeah, well, maybe
you gotta let the sagebrush grow for a bit before you have stuff chewing on it.
Yeah, for sure. It was really cool because we had tons of kids that were just excited to go out there and work with the tools and do stuff. This was the first time my son, my youngest, who just turned 12, came on what we call a dig day, where you go work on trails and stuff. And we're working on stuff, and he's like, "This is really cool." He's like, "I'm going to be so proud next time I come up here with my bike and we go ride, knowing that I fixed this and did that." And, that's the kind of stuff we need our kids doing, and getting them involved in firearms and safety and stuff like that is the same, getting them involved in stuff, get them away from the screens, get them in real life, real world, and excited about things.
And experience nature. There's so much to be said for experiencing just the beauty of nature and,
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways.
And while we were out there, I asked the DWR guy, I'm like, "So how come we can't hunt with air guns here in Utah?" And he's like, "I don't see any reason why you can't or why you shouldn't." I'm like, "Well, it's against the law." But so I kind of picked his brain on that a little bit. He's a biologist. He's not the guy to be picking on for that stuff. But that there's easy workarounds for the problems they have with them, which is it boils down to tax money.
Yeah.
When you buy an air gun and you buy pellets, you aren't paying into the taxes that go into wildlife habitat and restoration and stuff like that. But
yeah, all they need to do is just
make that part of the tag.
Yeah, the tag just costs more if you hunt with air guns or something.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem doing that, paying extra for a tag to hunt with an air gun. If I could hunt with my air gun, I would sell my muzzle loader.
Wow.
I
would second that, except I already sold my muzzle loader.
Yeah, you didn't like it to begin with.
No, I didn't like it to begin with.
I like my muzzle loader a lot, but man, after you fire it 3 or 4 times, it's so dirty you can't reload it again. You got to clean it.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to bring it up to the wildlife board.
Yeah, I'm going to look into it a little bit more. And I know Justin over at Utah Air Guns is in the know on that. So I'm going to talk to him and just, I don't know if it's something that needs to go through the legislature, or if it's something that just goes through the wildlife management people or what, but it seems like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, do we want to wrap up with some listener feedback?
Yes, we have a few.
Let's do it.
All right. The Crazy Scotsman, he writes in, and this is in regards to our last episode where we were talking about different things you can do to practice without using lots of ammo.
Uh-huh.
And he says, limiting round count for mag changes, etc., is a great way to train in general. I recommend having someone else load the mags for you so you don't anticipate when it will run dry. Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I saw some training videos this week where that was definitely a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I think just changing up what you're doing is always good too. If you go and you always do the same thing,
you're setting yourself up for bad things.
Yeah, even if, because I've seen some guys when they go to the range, they train they draw, they shoot around, and then they reholster. Or they draw, they shoot around, do a reload, and then shoot another round, and then holster. And if you do that too much, then when it comes time to draw your gun, you're going to shoot once and then you're going to reload.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Because that's what you've built up as your muscle memory.
Yep. That's what you're teaching your brain is how you do it. Yeah.
So vary it up. All right. And Greg G writes in and he says, question for Taco. Do you apply gas checks before you powder coat bullets? If so, how do you remove the lube on the bullets that promotes sizing? Hey, that's actually a really good question. I've had a couple different people ask me that. And my general response is it's way easier to powder coat the bullets and then throw the gas check on top. It's like simpler. But if I'm going to be shooting something through a suppressor, I really don't want the risk of, one of those gas checks start to come off
flying out
the bullet and hit one of the baffles and maybe turn the bullet so I get a baffle strike with the bullet, or even just the gas check dinging, the baffles. So what I do is I'll take the naked cast bullet and I will gas check it. So throw the gas check on, run it through the sizer. But like Greg was saying, I like to, put a little bit of lube on it when you run it through the sizer so it doesn't just smear lead in your sizing die. And then what I do is I give it a little bit of not necessarily an acetone bath, but kind of. I throw the bullets in on a towel and throw it in the back of my truck and then spray acetone over them and swish it around with the towel. And you want to make sure you do that outside, well ventilated. Acetone's not great to breathe in, even though
does that take the paint off your truck?
It would, but I have a plastic bed liner.
Oh,
so yeah, and I use my tailgate for everything. So
most people don't pour acetone on their truck.
Yeah. So yeah, don't
have
really want to throw that on.
Truck?
Not as bad as Jason's truck.
That one's parked.
Yeah. So, anyways, you want to make sure you do it in a well ventilated area because acetone's not great for breathing in. Even though women do it all the time with their fingernail polish remover.
Mm-hmm.
So, because that's acetone, isn't it?
Yep.
Often it is. Yes.
Yeah. So, anyways. And then after I do that, I let them dry, and then I powder coat them, and then I have the powder coat over the gas check helps keep the gas checks on, and I haven't seen any of them come off after they've been gas checked and then powder coated. So
how often do gas checks separate from the bullet?
I don't know because I don't see the bullets leave my barrel in slow motion,
right?
But I have recovered bullets. Downrange that are missing gas checks.
Have you ever had strikes or gas checks flying through your chronometer or
no,
anything weird like when
I haven't really, and I have just heard of people having gas checks fall off their bullets and in flight or whatever. And I've also recovered some bullets where the gas checks were not on, and so for that reason. It's a thing that I do just for care, for my suppressors, just because they're not cheap, and even worse than the cost is the time you have to wait for them, the suppressors. Right. So that's the process I use, and it seems to work good for me. So, all right. And then Kenny from the Eagle Eye Shooting Channel writes in, and he says, totally use what Jason suggests. I actually use a Glock 17 GBB, green gas or propane, 13-round airsoft to plink train. I used to be heavily...
I like Kenny. We should have him on the show.
Yeah.
We should. I actually talked to him about coming on the show, and he's awesome. And
I wonder if he could ignite the propane.
Well, I don't
Turn it into a part flamethrower.
Yeah.
But he continues and says, I used to be heavily into airsoft and help RO tactical training events, military simulation, and land warfare, as they are called, at Code Red Airsoft Park with Mr. Lee Gold. SP or SBPD and LAPD use these parks for training. There's a lot of knowledge learned that can be transitioned to self-defense with real pews.
Yeah.
So I think that is true.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's just some things like, there are limitations with airsoft guns. And,
for
example, airsoft BBs don't go through walls.
Yeah.
And other things like that. But all right. And Spencer writes in and he says, just thought I'd throw this up here. I picked this up last week, but not to go with a lever gun. And he included a picture of his brand new Kunin 1911.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Those are so cool. They're like
the 357.
Yes, it's like a
yeah.
357 Magnum 1911.
Nice.
You have to have huge hands.
I was gonna say you have to have big hands for those to like feel okay because the grips are so long.
Yeah,
because of the the long cartridge, the 357 Magnum.
That is cool.
Very cool.
I've looked at Kunins for like a long time, and I keep almost, I don't know, part of me really wants to get one because they're unique and they shoot a cartridge I really love. But then part of me is not, I don't know. It's a little bit more practical, but I think it's like on my long list.
Since when were you ever practical about guns?
Too practical for taco.
Okay. That's a fair argument. A pink and gold high point. Oh, by the way, those boys really enjoyed shooting the high point.
Oh, you're training the next generation of gangsters.
It's so funny because it's such an ugly gun, and especially when it's pink and gold and has like gold, or it has the skull grips.
Oh, yeah.
But I had a suppressor on it, and it was just, guys are having fun with it, and it worked. Totally worked.
Had no idea the shame that they were participating in.
Well, we had some really nice like 1911s, and
and they all went to the pink
and
high
CZs
point
and stuff like that. But the high point was just like, they enjoyed it. I want to shoot
the gun that looks like somebody threw up.
Well, they had some of the boys had seen in my Instagram where I did the rapid rack where you rack the slide with inertia, like from swinging your hand real fast. And so they were super impressed with that. But
wow.
Yeah. Anyways. Oh yeah. Got to finish his comment. But he said, I'd been drooling over Kunins ever since I saw them at the NRA show when it was here in Atlanta a few years back. This one is a Model B dating from early 1990s and still works like a champ. So I guess it's not brand new. It's just new to him.
Yeah.
I actually got it fairly cheap because the guy who owned it, a local deputy sheriff, couldn't find any 357 to shoot in it. Great show as always.
Wow.
Oh, I think it's awesome when you get somebody else's mistake. Like,
yeah.
What I mean by that is, for example, I bought my Desert Eagle 50 cal from this guy, and he was a motorcycle rider, and he had broken his wrist, and so he couldn't shoot it. And plus the ammo was super expensive, so he's like, this is pointless. And so I got a really good deal on it. I think I only paid like $1,000, and it's the nice, the kind of like the chrome finish or whatever.
Yeah.
The brushed chrome or something like that.
Not the gold-plated one.
Not the gold-plated. Man, if it was gold-plated, that would have been gold-plated with tiger stripes. Something like that. That would be awesome. But yeah, so I got
a guy who can do that for you.
Yeah.
But sometimes you come across guns where it just doesn't make sense for that owner to own them anymore.
Right.
And I love when I come across those kind of guns or those kind of people who are like, I can't find ammo for this. And I'm like, well, I'll buy it from you. I'm sure I could make something.
Yeah.
But yeah, the odd caliber ones, those are usually the ones where people get tired of paying enormous amounts of money for the ammo when they can have something a little bit more common and pay way less. Yeah. So I love the oddballs because I can make anything I need,
Nice.
So, anyways,
very cool.
All right. And Matt writes in and he says, hi guys, love your content. I've been listening since way back when Eric's mom was a thing.
All right.
Yeah. And for those of the newer listeners, what he's referring to are the Gun Dudes episodes.
Making fun of Eric Shelton.
Yeah.
Live it is Bob's basement.
Yep.
What was Shelton's podcast called?
Oh geez, what was it? Hang on, I'll look it up while you guys keep talking.
Yeah. I can't remember now.
Was it something like the Handgun Podcast or something?
Yeah, maybe it was that.
Yeah,
could have been
because he would always talk about Glocks and something.
Torture testing his Glock.
I think he hated XDs and he liked Glocks. Anyways, Matt continues. He says, anyways, I digress. I was just listening to a Stuff You Missed in History Class podcast. And one thing they do rather regularly is play classic episodes. They add an edit before and after the episode with a disclaimer that links or email addresses mentioned won't be good or won't still be good and such. I thought that it might be worth you guys doing the same with the old Gun Dudes episodes. Put together an intro, outro with a disclaimer and some updated advertising plugs and release an episode a week or something like that. Just a thought, might be a good, easy outlet for more advertising.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, that might be.
That might be good when we can't get together.
Yeah.
We should put it into syndication, and
we should see if Carl still has the original episodes or something.
Might have
I've got a half a dozen of them, but
your favorites. Yeah, maybe we'll have to do that. But
it was the handgun podcast, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, who has the best memory here?
Yeah, barely you do.
Mark's phone.
Yeah.
So, okay. And then he says, on a different subject, I work for a big battery company. And if you let me know what kind of watch battery goes in the laser mentioned last episode, I might be able to send you guys a bunch. Only thing that's difficult is anything lithium, pain in the butt to ship.
Yeah.
Okay. So Jason,
I'll get the number off of him.
Get that number to me and I'll forward it on to Matt, and I might throw some extra battery numbers in there. Just well, I like this battery and this battery and this battery.
It's some for Stan's hearing aids.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for listener feedback. And
all right, I think we should just wrap it up right there.
I think so. It's kind of late and it's a weeknight,
and I'm tired.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. Thanks for jumping on, guys. And hopefully we're still entertaining you, whoever's still listening.
They're asleep now. But don't forget to check out magholder.com and use coupon code.
Oh, yeah.
Get in the van. I have candy.
All right. Does Magholder Mama still work?
Magholder Mama.
Yep.
Okay. And also, don't forget to head over to concealmentsolutions.com for all of your holster needs. And knife sheaths.
And I just got 3 new gun molds today in the mail.
What are they?
So the CZ-P10F, the CZ-P10S, and the Smith & Wesson Shield EZ-380.
Yeah. Hey, so does that mean you don't need to borrow my gun when you make my holster?
That's exactly what that means.
Oh,
so I just got some super awesome Kydex in that I am making. So Stephanie over at SX3, she wanted a new drop leg for this Girl in a Gun conference next week. And she said, I give you complete artistic authority or whatever.
Oh, no.
And
pink and gold.
With the caveat, she said, but nothing girly. So another customer, in fact, the customer I got my ammo from, he brought me in a piece of Kydex that his daughter, his 12-year-old daughter or 11-year-old daughter, her Walther P22 is that seafoam green color.
It's like Tiffany green.
Yeah, that's a good description. She picked out this Kydex they found online and he ordered it. It looks like the Galaxy, but it has that same green in it with pinks and blues and black, and it's all starry looking. And so he brought me that in, and I texted Stephanie. I said, "You trust me, right?" She said, "Yeah." And I took a picture of that and sent it to her. And my gosh, I'm like, she was like, "Oh yeah, go for it. Let's just go crazy with it." I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" And she totally called my bluff. And I'm like, "That's not what I picked out for you. I have something different." She's like, "Oh, good. I was starting to panic, but I didn't want to make you mad." I'm not going to tell you what this stuff is that I got for her, but it came in and it looks better than I thought it was going to. So I'm putting her drop leg together tomorrow.
Send a photo in group chat.
I will post some pictures of the completed holster after she takes delivery of it,
All right.
which should be this week. But yeah, so I've got some new Kydex patterns coming in that I may add to the catalog because I really like them. So
That's cool. Yeah,
Anyway.
I do need to get that drop leg made for that CZ-P10.
you just got to tell me what you want it made with.
Black and black.
What you want it to look like. Nope. You got to pick something else.
Yeah. Okay. But anyways. All right. Let's
Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Thanks for
thanks for
listening.
tuning in and listening.
Take somebody shooting and be nice to people. Go meet your neighbors if you don't know them.
Yep.
Go volunteer with a youth program.
That
Yeah.
too.
Make a difference in your world.
All right.
See you next week.
Later. So we are recording. Okay.
All right.
Do you know which episode?
91.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. 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 Okay.